No, so we are here in Cannes on board Coral Ocean with Ian Malouf. Ian is one of the most successful entrepreneurs from Australia, and in yachting he came in with Ahoy Club around 2018. But his journey started a bit before, and I think you have a very, very interesting business journey. Maybe we can start a little bit, like when you're in your early 20s, what did Ian want to become, and how did you become a yacht owner?
Okay, thanks for having me, Marion. What do I want to become? I definitely, at the age of 20, have no aspirations for that. But I left school when I was 18 and started business really straight away. I bought a small truck and ended up in the waste business, probably by sheer accident.
Did your family, were there entrepreneurs as well?
My dad was into property and things like that. Dad was a jack of all trades. He could do a bit of anything.
And how did you end up in the waste business then?
I bought a truck. It evolved into something, quite large. And so I started with a small truck. I had to shovel the rubbish on, shovel it off, and then one day I bought a tipper. That was like a technology jump where the rubbish fell off the back of the tip quicker, and then very much into recycling at a very early stage, and then grew into a large recycler, and then very focused, Sydney focused, and now my whole business was focused around there. And then we built one of the largest recycling plants in the Southern Hemisphere, if not the world. Yeah. And that became, it was fantastic business. Like, it was my whole life for 40 years. It was wonderful. I still love it. I'm still in it, actually, to an extent, yeah.
And did you always have the feeling when you bought the first shovel, I'm going to make it a big business, I dream about being a big businessman, or was it like gradually, step from step?
I don't think you have any dream. I liked working, right? I sort of got the sense of, back then I could go out for a day and make $100, and that was amazing, right? And it was a lot of money, back when wages were maybe, I think it was $150 a week. If you could go out one day and make $100 in a day, it probably gave me inspiration to keep going. But as far as, it is funny, I've been asked this before, do you look forward? You don't at that age. You just, opportunities come across all the time. Yeah. It's a matter of whether you take them or not. Yeah. And when an expansion came, or whatever that might look like, whether it's a new truck, whether it was I went into the bin side of the business very early, which was quite a different thing. Rather than going shoveling every load on, you were able to drop a bin off and someone else was able to load it for you. That was sort of pretty cool. That started to really exponentially jump the business. And then we had so much waste, then we started to go, what do we do with all this waste? And that's what made us start to think, well, hang on, we can recycle this, we can do that. There's metal, there's dirt, there's bricks, simple stuff. Yeah. I had the great fortune of landing on a business that was quite diversified and exposed me to, meta machinery, as I say, right? Lots of machinery, big, heavy equipment and things, and that sort of prepared me through my life. I started to go to uni at the same time when I bought the truck. Straight out of school, I went and started to do law. It lasted 6 weeks. So I'd go to law at night and do the schooling at night, and then I was driving the truck during the day, and there wasn't enough hours in the day to do both.
And when did you had a feeling you were good in business, or that was never a realization of you, or you thought okay, I can do this truck, but I need other people to focus and build a business?
It's funny, you look back and see how things evolved. I just worked really hard. Yeah. Right, I could go to capacity to work 20 hours a day and do it 7 days a week. Yeah. Right, so I would come home exhausted and drop into bed, sometimes unshowered.
And start over again.
Yeah, and start over again.
And when did you realize you made good money? When were you a millionaire? How old were you?
Young. Yeah, making the money was actually, it was just all about hard work. So the money came. Not really a money counter, the money gives you access to be able to do things, buy things. So obviously then having trucks, went through a financial crisis in about 1989 where interest rates went to 20%, and I had a small amount of money, maybe some hundreds of thousands, so it wasn't that small, especially back then. But that turned into, in a crisis sort of situation with high interest rate, into what I did with that money was life-changing. Started to buy property at that point, and property had halved in value because of these 20% interest rates, and that really started the combination of the business was then funding me to buy land. And then as that kept going, I was able to buy more land to expand, to park trucks, then into bigger facilities than that. And I became one of the largest landowners in 5 kilometres out of the city in Sydney.
And you're also known to enjoy life. Did you back then had some time to enjoy life? Did you already go on the water? Did you buy nice cars, holidays, or was it more work?
I'm not a car guy, even to this day. I'm a boat guy, obviously.
Yeah.
I worked really. Look, I lost a lot. I missed certain things when I was growing up, my friend's 21st and stuff like that, because I was working all the time. Yeah. So I did work hard then, no regrets either. So I missed some stuff, but yeah, no, also played what I could. Yeah, I didn't miss out.
Yeah. And boating wise, you know, like in Sydney you get exposed to a lot of boating, and did you already boat when you were younger, or did it come at a later age?
Yeah, sure. Like when I was young, I don't know what it's like in Europe and that, but I had a little tinny, which is a little tin boat with a 6 horsepower on the back, and the whole ocean was my playground. Yeah. So yeah, we always had boats as a family, and then grew up, and then I think as a family our biggest boat was a 43-foot cruiser, which was a massive boat back then. Had a ball on it. Then I bought a 72-foot Princess in about 2001 it was, and that was a great kickstart actually, or very helpful in my business. So I didn't take clients to restaurants and that type of stuff. I took them on the boat. And I was in the construction side of the industry, being in the waste, and it was just really well received. So made a lot of relationships, friendships, and just from having some good fun on the harbour. That's how it really began. And then from there sort of evolved from, it was quite a big step. I went from a 72-foot boat to a 172-foot boat, being Mischief. Yeah. So that was a big step into the yachting world, which taught me lots of lessons early. Yeah.
And did you charter before as well?
Yeah. Bigger boats? Yeah, I would charter a bit over here and that was a different experience. It was more difficult than it needed to be, but it was chartered a bit. Yeah. And and then predominantly using my own boats at home.
So Mischief was your first big boat you bought?
Yeah, it was.
What made you buy her? Was there?
Natural progression, you always want a bigger boat. So I had a 72-footer, I tried to buy a 100-footer, I missed out on it. Then I went to try and buy a 120-footer, I missed out on it. And so then I flew to Europe, and then I looked at a series of boats, and Mischief was the one I chose. Yeah. And I think every boat I looked at I wanted to buy, right? But Mischief turned out to be a standout because of its beam, and there's a whole lot of reasons why I love Mischief, and I still have it today. Yeah, it's one of my favourites.
That also led you into Ahoy Club, but I think let's talk a bit more about the boats first. Do you keep Mischief because she pays for itself, or do you still use it in that part of the world, or is it predominantly for charter, the boat?
Yeah, no, the boat it's a working boat. So we took Mischief home. It landed home just before COVID, which was really quite fortuitous. But Mischief, it's the largest. It's funny, right? It's the largest. It's a 54 metre, but it's the largest commercial super yacht in Australia, which in European terms nearly sounds funny, right? Because it's actually a mediocre sized boat here. But yeah, look, Larissa and I spoke about that, we should buy a small boat and take it home. And thought, well, what's the point? Let's just take this one home, right? And so Mischief has become, the family loves it. We've had so much beautiful family holidays on in Europe and travelled the world here, and then now to have it at home and now do the South Pacific. The South Pacific is amazing. So we even just recently, I've been there in Fiji. I spent 3 weeks on the boat, and Fiji was amazing. So the whole South Pacific, whether it's Papua New Guinea, we've explored all those areas with the boat. Haven't done Tahiti yet. It's meant to be amazing. We will, but so that lives on that side of the world, and it's a great success for us, but also for the charter market there, and generally for Ahoy Club. It's a standout boat which people love to go on. Yeah.
Is it more tough to charter boats in the likes of Fiji, Solomon Islands, or Papua New Guinea? Is there regulations already there, or is it?
It's not too hard. VAT is pretty low in Fiji. No, it's not. Look, you're in island time, so you've got provisioning and all those types of challenges, which are not that hard to overcome. Yeah. So but it's a great place. The South Pacific there's a lot more to explore there.
And is there a growing demand from charter clients to go there? Because you need to kind of invest to bring your boat first there in order for people to see how cool it is, I guess.
Yeah, I think Tahiti and Fiji they are a good destination. Tahiti in particular is seen as an amazing destination.
And there's not many charter boats over there.
No, there's not a lot. Yeah. There's not a lot. So the choice is slimmer. So Mischief becomes a very popular choice there for size. And then there's boats passing through. The regulations in Australia are harder than they need to be. That's for sure. But
Are you working with the government or other industry bodies to change the regulations and make it better? I know David Good and the team are also really on top of it.
Yeah, David Good does stuff in that regard. It's hard, right? You're moving a bureaucracy for what would be seen as sensible decisions is difficult. Yeah. But every industry has it. Yeah.
And we're now on board Coral Ocean. She is the flagship of your fleet. You still enjoying her?
Coral Ocean, yeah, I love it. This is for a lot of reasons. It was a really landmark yacht to have bought. I may not have understood it fully at the time, but this was Coral Island. This was the yacht that was changed super yacht design forever. So it's a Lursen build, Bannockburn design, for a Lebanese owner, right? So it's like a whole lot of synergies there. And to have bought the boat, and we bought it directly from Lursen, which was a great experience. Very fast transaction. Around that time, just before COVID, and I was able to leave the boat show on it. But I bought the boat thinking I'm going to spend €5 million on this boat, and it's going to be fantastic. I'm going to have a really big boat. I then proceeded to spend €35 million on the boat, so a little bit out of budget, but no regrets. So what it came down to is the boat had such a good frame for us and the way we like to live that we really spent everything on it to bring it to make it a brand new boat. It was as much a rebuild as it was a refit. It was obviously a serious refit, but lots of structural change and stuff that we did up here, especially on up here on the sun deck. So it was a really good project. Gave us massive experience, and we did an amazing job. It was also important that we did a good job, right? Because it was such an iconic yacht. And here we are in the industry, not that long either, and I think there was a lot of people like to see you fail, and I think that's what drove us not to fail. And so it was like everything we had to do had to be excellent, and I think we've proven that here.
And how many weeks do you use yourself?
Oh, I'm struggling to get on my own boat now. It charters heavily. It's really, really popular charter yacht, right? People love it. Anyone who gets on it comes back. The only thing I don't like about the boat is getting off. So this season, I've only literally been able to get on the boat. Here we are today for the Cannes show.
Really? How many weeks of charter did you do?
I think we would have. Oh, it's been back to back since May.
Yeah. Like
non-stop. This boat, look, and same with Mischief, and we've got Rascal and Chaos as a theme here, right? And Cheeky and Trouble. All the boats are busy, right? And the boats that we manage as well are they're always very busy. We're very focused on the boats that we represent and making sure commercially we can make them as viable as possible, because it's not easy. No. People come in and think, own a boat, you're going to make a fortune. It's not really the case.
Can you make money on that, especially on say Chaos or Rascal? Can you?
Look, the advice we give our clients is it certainly takes the pain out of it. There's different markets. There's day charter and there's term charter. So the short answer is yes, you can make money out of boats. All right? Probably more so in Europe. The Australian market is during that summer period, is very much a day charter corporate market. So the boats go out for 4 hours. All right, we get well paid for that. All right, but it's like an event space where it goes out. You can, like Mischief, for instance, you can cruise around Sydney Harbour, like cruise around with the anchor up with 200 people on board. It's a very different dynamic there. And look, the ownership of a boat and chartering is, you've got a choice. I mean, probably the smartest way to buy a boat is with somebody else, because you halve the costs and halve the pain, as I say. And maybe 3 is the maximum you want, 3 people in a boat. It really makes it quite painless. But people like to own their own boats and that. So, and I'm a bit the same. Probably not a good sharer. And so I share it with the charter. So the charter is my partner of taking those costs out of running the boat.
Let's go to Ahoy Club. I think you started Ahoy Club because you were frustrated in the process of buying and chartering yachts. Is that right?
I think we saw the process as a bit clunky. Yeah. Saw it from a chartering side, and then from an owner's side, we just felt it could be better. Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah. That's where an idea births from, and that's where it came from.
And you were also, when you launched, like you said, the commissions can be lower. Is that still something you believe today?
Oh, look, I think in any industry, like when what you work for is what you decide to work for, right? Yeah. That's what competition is. We were made quite famous actually by our opposition when we first started, and that was it was really good for us. It made a bit of a pop when we came, and then everybody was talking about this. We were called disruptors. We were called all of these types of things. I think the truth is that we were owners coming into a business. Maybe it was perceived initially as someone, some bloke with some money's coming along and going to have a crack at this. And I think the misconception was that we don't start something we're not going to finish, right? My business career shows that, right? And we've done a range of things, and I think we enjoyed the business. And obviously my daughter Ellie runs the business. And if it wasn't for her, it's probably not the business I would have chosen. Yeah. But we're in it, and the family's in it, and we're very much with an owner's perspective in mind. So we came with a different point of view, and it's an owner's point of view, right? We're good with yachts. We know it. My history of having so many engines. I think in my previous business I had 3,000 engines, right, between trucks and machinery and equipment, and it's amazing how that training, if you would call it that, 40 years of that with people and machinery and equipment and welding and steel and all that sort of stuff on a very big scale makes this business very easy for me, right? Because there's nothing new, right? I go onto a boat, there's 2 engines, there's 3 generators. I had 3,000 of them, So I often get questioned, you know, well, what do you know about boats and that? Well, we actually know a lot.
Yeah.
And then looking from an owner's perspective, it is very different. So we're not commission driven. All right, I think that's the misconception, right? We're not commission driven. First choice in any business, and it's not just yachting, it is you got to. Warren Buffett says it the best. You got to delight your customer, right? So we care about the customer first and giving them the right advice. You know, we started in charter. We're now heavily into sales and management, the whole suite of offerings, because they do sort of well together. It's a big responsibility to give a potential owner advice on a boat. Like, it's like buying a house. In many cases, it's more than buying a house, right? And not only that, it's more of a depreciating asset than an appreciating asset. So you can get a lot of trouble with a boat. Yeah. And if someone buys the wrong boat for the wrong reason, that can be an economic mistake for them. So what we often do is, I think I've, without sort of, I think I've probably stopped people buying certain boats they thought they wanted, all right? And so we're not driven by the commissions that get the person into the right boat and the money will follow. So it's and that's
but your
been my whole
business model
business
is still commissions, right? In the end, that's
the business plays commissions. That's how it works. You earn a commission for selling a boat. Yeah. Selling the right boat to the customer is important, because the chances are they will buy another one. Put them into the wrong one, you've lost the customer for life. So we're not driven by. I'm definitely not driven by just ramming a boat onto someone. Like, getting them the right boat. It's meant to be a really good experience, and everyone says, oh, you know, I want to enjoy the experience in that. A lot of people don't enjoy the boating experience because it can be quite a little bit opaque, a little bit mysterious, and it's difficult for some people, right? It can turn a really nice experience into a really shit experience, all right, if you get it wrong.
But in this industry, you know, like, okay, you own boats, so you can place direct charters on it, but like, you have to work with other brokerage companies and other companies. And has the, you know, like, the resistance towards the Ahoy Club, which you saw in the beginning and you probably experienced, has that changed in 7 years since you started? Is there a lot of cooperation?
Oh, dramatically. I think you know, when we first came, look, it's like any opposition. Like, if a new business comes in, nobody likes it. Yeah. No one likes opposition, but opposition is what creates change and improvement, right? Yeah. So we came in to the industry, and yeah, there was some resistance against us, but we kept turning up, right? So the resistance actually makes you better, and that as well. So our sort of respect amongst brokers is very strong, right? Because they, you know, if you see what we've done as a family and what we've done with boats and our knowledge of what we're doing, it's hard to disregard that, right? So there was, I don't know, the resistance is probably the right word. I don't know if it was because it was just like, oh, owners are coming in to mess all this up. I don't know what mess all this up is, right? But I think now, as you say, 7 years on, I think it's there's a lot of respect for us in the industry, which is nice. Yeah. It's really good.
And to come back to, you know, like the commission, is it like equal now with another brokerage company, or do you offer charter boats cheaper because you can offer a reduced commission, or you don't want to undercut the market on the charter rates?
Everybody charges whatever they want to charge, right? So that's not. Don't know how to answer that. Like, it's, as I say, going back to what I said earlier, delighting your customer is what counts. Get them on the boat. You know, that charter client you get on the boat is potentially is potentially going to buy a boat, right? There's a lot, that's the foundation of everything. Yeah. Finding the right boat for the client is all that matters for us first, every time.
Do you focus more on sales now than charter, or is it both of equal importance?
Oh, they're both equal. I mean, the sales business is fun, right? We're good at it. Like, we're really good at it. We give the right advice and looking at boats and that. Ellie loves it, and the family loves it, right? You know, my other kids are coming through the business as well. Like, Ellie has five siblings, and so from a family business point of view, it's really fun for me to watch and see these guys go.
And does it help that you own a boat yourself, that through your network and meeting people, you meet other owners?
I think so. Yeah, it's nice. It's I mean, look, we all know, like, and lucky enough to own Correlation, such a beautiful boat. We have a really good time while we're working, right? So I am lucky enough to be on the boat, and so now we'll be on it from now till the end of October. So we'll really see this season to the finish, and like I say, it was the only chance I got to get on my own boat. But having the boat in cooperation with what we're doing, like, we got Best Crew Award in 2024. So we learn a lot with our own boats. Our team learns a lot from our own boat. So they get to come on the boat, stay on the boat, and get the proper experience. A lot of other people in the industry, and they know the experience, but they haven't necessarily experienced the experience, right? And that's very different. So being able to come on a boat, not unpack your bag, small point, but like things like that, and then cruise, and then go to sleep in France and wake up in Italy. It's the ultimate, I think, experience that anyone can experience in their life, right? I don't think there's anything better. No. because you're not commuting, you're not doing those things, and that's the attraction for me for sure. And I think everybody who's quite passionate about boats like really loves. What's not to love? Like here we are sitting, we're sitting here, and it's a very calming on the water. Yeah. The service is extraordinary, right? If you're on the right boat with the right crew, there's nothing better.
Yeah. Do you have the same service at home now?
Yes. It's a standard that we set the benchmark very high with our team and with our crew, and they respond to that. And yeah, our life is run at a pretty high standard, right, of service. Yeah. And it's not that we're very self-sufficient, but if we're doing something, we always do it properly. Yeah. Right? And anyone that experiences the way that we do things feels that straight away.
Yeah. We are here at the boat show. Are you always looking for more boats, or new projects, or you're kind of good for now?
I'm probably overactive in any space that I'm in. It's really good to see boats, see what's there. Yeah, there's no doubt we'll pick up more projects, right? So we really enjoy the refit side. We're really good at it. There's no question that we'll do a lot more of that. Aspirations one day to have a well over 100-metre boat, but probably with a group of people and travel the world. So where it doesn't stop, you get on and off, and like a mini world situation. I think that's something that
you can travel around the world with this as well, huh?
Yeah, we'll go a bit bigger before we do that. But this one's busy. So.
But would you ever sell Coral Ocean, you think, or you would?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think.
Did you get offers on it?
Yeah, I think I've had the opportunity to sell it. So there's a lot of our life in this boat because we actually did everything on it. So it's it suits us. And look. What happens with a boat? You've got one, and then you get envious of the next one. I haven't got boat envy yet. I've been on other 70-metre boats and 80-metre boats. There is a limit to where you tap out. And yes, I can have a bigger dining room. I can have a bigger this room, but it's just a bigger of the bigger. Yeah. So we sort of have everything we want on here. We've set it up to entertain. We're great entertainers, and we love it. So this boat does everything we want. And until I get envious of something else, then I think Mischief's probably an example where, if you would have asked me that when we're going to have it 10 years later, I would have thought maybe not. Still got Mischief. We've just done a 10 million refit on her. She's like a new boat. Yeah. So you can give these things new life. So I think that what will probably happen is at some point in its life, it might replace Mischief in the South Pacific as that market comes up, and then a bigger boat will replace it here. So it is a natural progression, but we, not actively trying to move this boat. We love it too much.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's a beautiful boat. And I think it has a lot of the deck space. It's it has the looks, the iconic looks, and the interior is amazing. And it has an unusual layout, which works really well, I think. And
it's very open because there's a lot of exemptions on it. Like to build a boat so open as this in modern day, to replicate this boat, it's not so simple, right? Because there's a lot more rulings around it than that. So we've even the size of the mast at the front and little things like that, which make a big difference. It's a very unique boat. And like I say, I haven't had boat envy yet. So far so good, and love being on it.
And do you think that technology, especially on the chartering side, will ever replace or minimize the role of the broker, or do you think there's always be a personal touch involved because nobody wants to book a 70-meter boat with 3 clicks?
I think brokers are important. I think you can, as I said earlier, you can choose the wrong boat. So the brokerage side, the broker being involved with the transaction absolutely has its place, right? So that's an important role. You can go on a boat, it might be a beautiful boat, it can have the wrong crew and things like that. So the brokers sort of doing their homework for their clients, especially the serious clients and that, but everyone's a serious client, is really important. So you'll never completely replace that. Relationships are important. I come from an industry of the construction industry. That whole industry was built on relationships, right? And all of our business there and that was on relationships. Contracts are interesting, but it's relationships that count. So from the day charter side of the market, so Ellie's launched Ahoy Days, that's totally digital. All right, that you don't really need broker involvement. You can go there, see a small boat, I want to go on it today. That's pretty straightforward. All right, so that part of it absolutely, and then that'll increase a bit. But is somebody going to rent Coral Ocean and put $1 million through their credit card online? Probably not. No. Not for some time, but you can see that shopping online and that is there. So horses for courses. On the day charter side, pretty simple, quite tedious. So the electronic side of it, we're very much in there. So we've got a booking platform that you press a button, you put your credit card in, it's done. The run sheets go out, everybody knows what's going on. That part of it we're at the forefront of, and that's huge success on the day charter market.
Yeah. And you also invested in Ray White Marine.
Yes.
How did that happen, and how do they work together with Ahoy Club?
Ray White is the distributor for Ferretti in Australia and New Zealand, which is great. Like that really brought us into the having that distribution is really nice. Ferretti is an amazing company. I think they really are the biggest, and they got all these brands.
You need to buy one of their boats then, huh?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. No, big fan of them, right? And the Reavers in particular have stunned me. Like they've got great range, great passion. We just had the dealers conference here in Monaco. It's a great company, and like it's got real depth, real knowledge of product, very energetic, great people, and so that's been really exciting for us. And yeah, it's really good, really good. Really enjoy that distribution.
But that's mainly so the distribution of the dealership of Ferretti Group brands, and then the second-hand sales is through Ahoy Club.
Yeah, there's the brokerage side of it is there, because look, not everyone's going to buy a new boat, and so you've got to be able to offer your clients the whole lot. There's people who will only buy new, and we have a range of 7 different brands there, from small to large to sailing. Yeah. With the Wally brand and everything, so it gives clients a fantastic choice.
And your daughter Ellie is of course running Ahoy Club. How rewarding is it to see the next generation, like of your family working in your company and building something of their own?
Yeah, having Ellie run the business is awesome. I'm too old for it now, right? It's a younger person's sport, I think, I've done my time in it. Like, I had a lot of employees and did all that sort of stuff. So Ellie taking the heat off that makes it worthwhile. She loves it. She's really passionate about it, which is great. Brothers and sisters are coming through the business as well, and the business is big enough and it's global enough to be able for everybody to have their own space. So, yeah, I think I'm just here to help, right? And they're doing a great job, and that is the most rewarding of everything we do. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
And do you think Ahoy Club can be a lot bigger, or can it just be a very good company at this size with good margins?
Look, we can be as big as we want to be. We've bought, the marinas. It's a funny business because it's very person dependent, and you're only good as your last sale. So we're a little bit more infrastructure bound than that. So I bought a marina in Sydney recently, which I don't think it's public knowledge yet, but we bought a really good marina there, and the tugboats are there. So we're going to blend that with tugboats and big boats. Big white boats, as we say. So that's interesting. So we've got then a base where all our boats can stay, the ones we're managing in that. So we get these efficiencies in managing the boats as well. So I'd never be against owning a shipyard at some point, never to build new, but the renovation side and the refit side is something we really, really like.
Yeah. Well, Rivergate was for sale at some point, right?
What's that?
Rivergate was for sale.
Yes, like there's always yards for sale. It's a matter of right time, right place. What we're very good at doing is, like when Mischief went into the shipyard, it was an unscheduled refit for various reasons, and it became a very big refit because we struggle to half do things. And if we left that to the shipyard, no offence to the shipyard, but if we left that to the shipyard, it would have been in the yard for 19 months, all right, which probably.
And how long was it in there now?
We pulled it out in 10. But we self-managed that, same as we did with Coral. We self-managed the process, everything. We did it, we project managed it, we built it. And that's what we're really good at, because the mathematics of getting a boat out of a yard for a season early is worth millions. Yeah. So it drives the program really hard to procure everything and do everything fast. And it makes it a lot more fun. Yeah.
What is something you would have liked to know before you bought a big boat?
I don't know how to answer that. I'm great at making my own mistakes. We forge a different path all the time, so look, when I was buying a boat, when I was going to take that big step up, you got a lot of advice. Don't go over 499 GT and all that. And I didn't understand that, right? So Mischief being that big jump up is 700 GT. So I went from 150 GT to 700 GT. Absolutely no regrets. Wider boat. 10.3 wide versus more conventionally in that size at 9 metres. But I disobeyed that thought because it didn't make sense to me. And then when I dug into it, like, why is it 499? Because there's a little bit more compliance, right? And it's a little bit that. But when I looked at my own business, the compliance that we had there with heavy machinery and men and safety and all that far overwhelmed this little bit of extra compliance I needed for a bigger boat. So we just took the jump. I don't think there's anything. No, I just, like I say, like that experience of learning about boats and and buying a boat, that experience of looking and buying and that, like, it's awesome. Like, it's fun. You learn. That's how you learn. All right. And at the end of the day, you make the decision, and you know, the worst decision might be that, you know, there's a bit more mechanical repair than there needed to be or something like that. They're not fatal decisions as long as you've got that initial that I suppose, unless you buy a real dog, you got to be careful of that, and you didn't expect it. That's what can get you in financial trouble. But if you choose correctly, it's a great experience.
And is there something that keeps you up at night, or are you pretty chilled out?
No, not much keeps me up. All right. I'm active. Like, I get up a lot. Like, my day starts at 4. All right, wherever I'm in the world. So if I'm in Australia, I can talk to Europe. If I'm in Europe, I can talk to Australia, because we've got lots of projects on. We do some medical stuff. We do development. Still in the waste industry. We're doing some big stuff in the South Pacific Islands at the moment, which will change, which will be amazing if that comes off. Nothing I can talk about at the moment. Maybe that's for another time when we do it, because that's what will change. We'll change the South Pacific environmentally.
And you invested a lot in stem cell therapy as well?
Yes, really bit of a passion, I suppose, or just, you know, it's, I'm not a medical person, but the amount of people we've helped with that, so we're involved with it and support Neil Riordan's,
is that like
sort of
$50
king
million
of that.
or
Pardon?
something? Is that around?
Yeah, it was a pretty big number, but it's more that what it does for people, and now with the opening up of America and that, the stem cells are going to come more and more and more, and it helps so many people with autism, autoimmune diseases, and that. It's a real passion of. We've just seen the results from it. It's amazing. Yeah. So it helps people who will have, you know, really debilitating illnesses. Stem cells help a lot of people. You know, it's been going in Panama for 21 years. You know, so it's no secret, and with massive success and no failure.
And how did you get into that investment? Is it just?
Oh, we were just doing the medical side of stuff, and one day we went to Panama. All right, then I met these guys, fantastic bunch of doctors and that, and then but then more Neil Riordan is sort of like, you know, a very famous guy, and especially in this space, like he's a real leader in this space, and we just got to know each other. We ended up going the Grand Prix, I think it was in 2019, and we just built this relationship, and things evolved from there, like they do everywhere. So again, a little bit of that whole connection sort of came from boating, I suppose, as many things do.
So does owning a big boat bring you a lot of business opportunities?
I think it forms nice relationships, right? So
because you meet a lot of interesting people, because you have a big boat, they come on your boat, they meet you.
Yeah, absolutely, and vice versa. Yeah, no, it's nice, right? It's nice from all. You just meet a lot of people, and we really enjoy bringing people on the boat to show them the boat, they experience the boat, and we get a kick out of that, right? So it is like for us when we invite someone on the boat to invite them into our home, and I think people really appreciate that too. And whether it's brokerage or opposition, if you want to call it that, or whatever, other brokers and everything, we have broker parties on here and that, and it's fun. Everyone who comes has a good time, and that's sort of in our DNA as a family.
No, I think you've always been super welcome to anyone during boat shows, drinks. Everybody come on board. If you're a supplier, broker, anyone, you know, like you've been very welcoming.
Yeah, we found it. We are, and purposely so. We found sometimes, like, you know, you might go to some boat shows, and it's like, no, you can't get on this boat, you can't get on that boat. We're very much not that. Yeah. Like, it's like, because you never know. Like, you know, we all started as kids, and we you know, had aspirations. Like, who would have thought when I was at Garbo, which I still am today, but who would have thought when I'm at Garbo that I'm going to end up owning big boats? So if you underestimate people, you know, I had that happen to me early in my career. It was probably my great learning. I was a rubbish guy, right? So I was dirty all day, and I had holes in my socks and all that type of stuff. And one day I got rained out, so I went to the Caterpillar dealer to buy 2 big machines, and the guys took no notice of me at all. And it was like I was here to buy some machines, right? So I ended up buying them from another state in Australia, and then they trucked them down back to Australia. And what I think it became a lesson within Caterpillar back then, and that don't underestimate your customers, right? Because it was like, oh, this guy actually bought 2 really big machines. Yeah. So it was, and what I take away from that is that we should always be welcoming. You don't know who you're dealing with or anything, and underestimating people or trying to judge a book by its cover, it can really let you down.
And what is, you know, people who haven't met you just read about online, there's some nice statements you can find of you, and, you know, like some of people have all sorts of opinions, especially the ones who haven't met you. What do you think is the biggest misconception about you that people have?
Oh, look, I don't know. I don't know if it's a misconception about me or people generally. Like, so it's funny. There's a saying, right, that people like to see you do well. No one likes to see you do too well. That can often be frowned upon. Which you know, I started from where I began, and very humble, and made it. So I don't get wrapped up in that. I think that people, now we're very passionate about what we do, and everything we do it full on. If we're not going to do it, we just don't do it. But if we're going to do something, we commit 100%. All right, that enthusiasm, the speed at which we move, it can often be perceived differently. All right, so often, and look, people, I don't know what the misconception is of what different people think. You've got your opposition. Well, your opposition are not really meant to like you. I think the greatest misconception, I think, is when we came into this business, it was like we're going to come in and just try and muck around with things as owners, right? They sort of see, oh, some guys come in with some money, they're just going to muck this thing up, whatever this thing is, and that's not the case. We keep turning up, you know, here we are, and I think the level and standard of how we operate, and you see Ellie operate, I think now the respect is really nice to see.
And finally, if you were 25 years old today, what would you do?
Oh wow. 25 today, what would I do?
Or 20, you know.
Okay, even 20.
Would you go back into the race business?
I would buy a truck. If it was one sentence I had to answer that in, I would buy a truck.
Do you still think you can make a big business if you buy one truck and then grow it, or is that market saturated?
Yeah, I mean, look, the opportunity. Look, I think with anything, you know, you've got AI now, which changes business and that. Like, it's a big deal. If you don't embrace that, it's a great mistake in any business. Hard work is what I've definitely passed down to my kids. And whatever you have a go at, if you work hard enough at it, you will get there. All right. So if you pick I was fortunate enough to pick a waste industry, which is a very lucrative business, right? So it was amazing. It made my whole life, obviously, right? But it was the hard work and the mistakes that you make, and then the determination to keep going that gets you there. So if you're not prepared to work hard, you might as well just give up before you start.
Is it challenging for you to make your children work hard because they grew up in a different environment?
I think you could look at our life, and it would be very disappointing to me, because like some things we do in our life and being on the boats and that and traveling the world, it's quite surreal, right? It's great they've experienced it, but they don't take it for granted. If they did, I'd have to put their feet back on the ground pretty quickly, right? So we all want to, as a family, enjoy a beautiful life and do that type of stuff. But if my kids became spoiled brats, I'd be the first to slap them down, right? So this is my making. It's not theirs. They get the good fortune of being able to enjoy that. But if they ever, and sure, you know, everything will pass down to them one day, whatever. But if they take that for granted and think it's just going to come, you know, I even say to them, I said, I'm spending it pretty fast. You know, my intention is, you know, I may not leave you anything. And they said, Dad, we believe you. We see how you spend, right? But they get to enjoy that, whatever. But they've got to make their own mark, right? So I'm really proud of what I've done. I never get embarrassed for being successful, because I made it, right? I'm not, and they've got to do the same. And I think they see that. They've seen it. You know, from kids up, they've seen how it worked, and they have inherited it, and that I'm really proud of. Yeah. They all want to work. It's interesting. You know, at dinner table, you know, you could argue we talk too much work. All right, a lot of people would say that, but that's just what we do, right? It's interesting, right? We're not talking about how, you know, that was nice flowers we saw today. We've actually got interesting things to talk about, and it's world issues and issues. They're all interesting kids, and you can see it in them. I'm super proud of my kids. Yeah.
And so you don't like cars so much, you do like boats a lot?
Love planes? Planes, the temptation. I always said I'll never buy a plane, which probably means I will. All right, it'll come one day, and it's you know, they're convenient, and but the boats is my go-to thing.